Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Group. And today we're going to be looking at none other than the Hardy Boys. Now, the Hardys for me are the greatest tag team in history. I've always been a massive fan of the Hardy Boys, whether it be in WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, House of Glory, AEW. I've always been a massive Hardy Boys fan, and I still believe they've got at least a year or two left of their career. So obviously they turned up in NXT last night as TNA champions, which still feels a little bit wild to me. I know obviously they've got this working relationship now, but to be able to see the Hardy Boys coming into NXT to a WWE promotion, if you like, as the TNA tag team champions is wild. Like, I know we've seen Jordan Grace do it with the TNA Women's Championship, and recently Moose, with the X Division, and Joe Hendry with the TNA World title at the Royal Rumble. But to see the Hardy Boys turn up on NXT with the TNA Tag Team Championships, it's all starting to hit home just about the actual agreement that they have, the working relationship that they have. I know, like I say, we've seen other people switch from brands, but the fact that the Hardys have come in as TNA tag team champions is a little wild for me, especially being a fan of both companies for years growing up. Like I say, obviously I watched the Hardys in both WWE and TNA. It is a little bit wild, and it is a little bit sort of getting your head around it right now. They will be facing Fraction for the TNA Tag Team Championships at WWE Roadblock. So today I just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the Hardy Boys and maybe what their future holds with TNA and WWE. So the reports coming out are that they are still contracted to TNA until the end of the year. Now, obviously, they do have a working relationship between TNA and WWE. So the fact is, yes, they might be under contract with TNA. You don't have to sit and wait for the year before they can turn up on WWE TV. Now, at the moment, obviously, the working relationship is between TNA and NXT, but that's not to say that we couldn't see the Hardy Boys at some point on the WWE main roster. Like, we could see them have a match at WrestleMania, which for me is something that they should do. WWE's tag division isn't great, and obviously Hardy Boys are universally loved by all companies, and especially by the WWE universe. So what I'm looking at is what's next. So for me, I believe that they're going to hold the tag titles in TNA for a while. I don't think they're going to lose them to a WWE tag team. I think they'll lose them to a TNA tag team. Keep the belts obviously in TNA. But I think there is definitely a possibility that we'll see them at WWE WrestleMania, and maybe a couple of other pay-per-views before and after. But I'd expect, there's an opportunity as well for TNA and the Hardy Boys to work on the contract. Like, we've seen Jordan Grace was supposed to had until this summer as a TNA worker, but they managed to come to an agreement where she got out of a contract about, was it 5-6 months early? So there's an opportunity for maybe TNA and WWE to work on something there. The Hardy Boys came in originally on a handshake deal, then they both signed contracts and became TNA Tag Team Champions. That is due to expire at the end of this year. But like I say, we could see an agreement being worked. Or they could work both companies. There's an opportunity for them to work both companies. We've seen it happen, like I say, where people jump from one brand to another or one company to another. AEW and New Japan do it quite a lot. So there's an opportunity there as well. So I'd expect the Hardy Boys, to be honest, I'd expect them to come in, have a run in WWE, whether it's 6 months to a year, before going into the Hall of Fame next year. So there's no doubt in my mind, obviously, that the Hardy Boys will eventually end up in the WWE Hall of Fame. They've been 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions, the 1-time Raw Tag Team Champions, 1-time SmackDown Tag Team Champions, 1-time WCW Tag Team Champions, 3-time TNA Tag Team Champions. Now, that can actually be used as an accolade now, because obviously they're using TNA and WWE, they've got the working relationship. So, and that can be used as an accolade of theirs. Like say, they are the current TNA Tag Team Champions. And they've also held one Tag Team Championship in Ring of Honor and one Tag Team Championship in House of Glory as well. We wouldn't expect them to be obviously mentioned on WWE TV, but it clearly shows that they've been around for a while, and they are, for me, like I said at the beginning, they are the greatest tag team ever. Like, I really enjoy the Hardy Boyz as a team together. Well, not only that, like, they'll go in as a tag team, I'm pretty sure, first, but both guys could easily go in off their own backs as well. Both former world champions. Obviously, Matt Hardy never won the WWE Championship, but he was ECW champion. He had a good run as United States champion as well. And we've seen Jeff Hardy's been Intercontinental champion. He's been WWE champion. He's been world heavyweight champion. And like I say, if the TNA accolades do count, Jeff Hardy's been a world champion in TNA, and so has Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's been TNA world heavyweight champion twice. So, like I say, I would expect them to come in and do something with WWE, whether it be 6 months to a year, and I would expect them to be one of the headline guests or one of the headline inductees, should we say, for next year's Hall of Fame. Now, we all know John Cena's on his retirement run, so I'd expect next year John Cena to be the headline act for the Hall of Fame. Like, obviously this year's is Triple H. I'd expect John Cena to go in as the headliner for next year's Hall of Fame. But I'd probably expect, if not next year, definitely the year after, the Hardy Boyz will be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, we've seen recently that Matt Hardy has said that Jeff does want to have one last run in WWE. We know he's had some issues and some problems in the past with drugs and alcohol, and the way he left the last time he was in WWE probably wasn't the way he'd want to leave any company, I'd imagine. We've seen it as well, unfortunately, in AEW. That cost them their chances there to be AEW Tag Team Champions with the situation surrounding Jeff Hardy, unfortunately. So I know Jeff does want a run, according to Matt. Jeff wants a run in WWE as more of like a thank you to the fans. Thank you for always having our backs over the years and still supporting us, even though we've both had our issues. The fans still love the Hardy Boyz. So, Jeff is saying that he does want one last run, and I think Matt is saying the same too. So they both do want one last run in WWE. Could we see them become NXT Tag Team Champions? That is a situation that could happen. They could defend the tag titles at Roadblock, maybe retain them, and then at the next one, they could, in fact, go for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Now, there's not many tag team championships or many accolades, should we say, or achievements that they haven't actually reached in the WWE, but being NXT champions is definitely one that they have not yet had the opportunity for and have not yet held. So there's a good opportunity there for the Hardy Boyz to also become NXT Tag Team Champions. We have seen it before with the New Day. The New Day dropped from the main roster for a short while, to become NXT Tag Team Champions. In fact, I think they still actually wrestled on Raw and SmackDown as well, didn't they? When they were the NXT Champions, but they were main roster talent at the time and still hold the NXT Championships. We've seen Charlotte Flair do it, we've seen Becky Lynch do it, Dolph Ziggler do it. So there has been a few people that have held NXT Championships when they've been on a main roster run. So there's the opportunity for them to hold gold that they haven't yet held before. And at the ages and the stage in their career, that is something that they will be looking to do. They've literally held every tag team championship that's been available to them, apart from the AEW Tag Team Championships. And unfortunately, a lot of that does fall on Jeff Hardy in this situation. But we won't concentrate too much on that. We want to see the Hardy Boyz one last time have a run in WWE, whether it be from this year's WrestleMania, or whether it be next year's WrestleMania. I think they'll have one last WrestleMania, possibly two. They'll have a short run in the company of 6 months to a year, possibly becoming NXT Tag Team Champions, possibly becoming WWE Tag Team Champions. Like I say, the main roster's tag division isn't great. It's getting better, You know, we've got DIY, we've got Motor City Machine Guns now. Imagine being able to watch Motor City Machine Guns versus the Hardy Boys on WWE TV. It's just insane. Like, say, to me, I've grown up watching both companies, and TNA was seen as like a swear word, really, wasn't it, for WWE for a long time. So seeing them now being able to talk about it, seeing them obviously switch between companies is a mad one. And I think it's really hit home just how serious this working relationship now is, with the Hardy Boys turning up last night on WWE TV with TNA Tag Team Championships. So there we have it. That is my thought. Expect the Hardys to have a short run in WWE before eventually going into the WWE Hall of Fame and then both retiring. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Hardy Boys. Like I say, for me, the greatest tag team in wrestling history. So let me know, do you think they'll have one last run in WWE? Do you think they'll become NXT Tag Team Champions or even WWE Tag Team Champions? Do you think we'll see them at WrestleMania? If so, who would you like to see them face at WrestleMania? And also let me know, do you think the Hardy Boys will be in the WWE Hall of Fame in the future? Don't forget, as always, to give us a like, comment, and subscribe to the wrestling group today.